You know what's something that I friggin' miss? I miss demo discs. Now, to all you Zoomers out there, demo discs were a thing that happened back in the early 2000s and the late 90s. It was a phenomenon that was just so indicative of the times that we were in back in the day. Before the internet, if you wanted to try a video game, you had to hope that it was on a demo disc. Sometimes you'd have a demo disc of a single title. Other times, if you subscribe to like PlayStation Magazine or whatnot, every month, as an incentive to get you to subscribe, in addition to getting a magazine that told you about all the new games coming out, they would include a demo disc that would have videos and gameplay trials of a certain small part of the game. You know, demos are something that still exists now. But like, it was interesting how like demos were almost a foregone conclusion. Like, all the major games for the PlayStation 2, for the most part, had a demo on the demo disc that came monthly with PlayStation Magazine. So if you wanted to try out a game, it was like a foregone conclusion that you could in some way, shape, or form. Now, this might sound stupid because, like, videos for a video game, just go on YouTube. YouTube didn't exist. There was no YouTube. There was no streaming videos at this time. So, like, being able to, like, pop a disc into your PlayStation and see the game play in video format and not just little pictures in your magazine was pretty great. Being able to play a small section of it, even greater still. One of my favorite fucking PlayStation 2 games of all time, Shinobi PS2. I suck its dick constantly. The way that I found that game in the first place was reading about it in PlayStation Magazine and then playing Level 2B on the demo disc that came with that issue. That demo disc was fucking fire, by the way. It had like Shinobi PS2, War of the Monsters, and I believe Maximo were all on this one demo disc. It was a fucking amazing, like 3 fucking great games all sampled right on this disc. And, you know, it was pretty convenient. You didn't even have to wait for downloads, you know, like the few games now that have demos on like PSN or Steam or whatever the fuck, like you gotta download them. It takes fucking forever, especially on PSN because that shit's fucking huge. A lot of the times the demos now is just the full game. So you have to download the entire game just to play a small portion of it because it wants you to pre-order it from the demo. And so it'll preload the game onto your system. And I guess that's convenient if you know you're gonna fucking buy the game. But if you're like me and you like trying shit out, I don't want to download the whole game because like 90% of the time it doesn't jive with me enough to pre-order because I don't pre-order games in general anyways. And I'm especially not gonna fucking pre-order a digital game when I can buy a physical copy that actually has resale value and retains value and isn't just a fucking file tied to my account. But I'm losing the train of thought already. Why am I bringing up fucking demo discs? I'm bringing up demo discs because the reason I liked them so much is that I was, and still am, fucking poor. So when I throw down money on something, I want to do it with confidence. I want to spend my money on something that I know will be good. I didn't mute my computer again and again. I'm not on a computer with RTX voice, so I'm fucked it up. Shit. Okay. But we don't have a lot of demos anymore. There are a handful of them that are released on, you know, on PSN and shit. But the vast majority of the time, you just kind of like hope that it's fucking good. And I miss that. And it brings me into a more broader point in like the internet and like us as people making and consuming content. Free is the game. And I would argue that at this point, everybody who's an independent creator trying to make a career, your content is ironically enough your demo disc. Because it's like your content is a demo disc for yourself. And this is like a really strange thing to think about. But like, I have a Patreon, okay? And there are people on that Patreon who give me money. I offer incentives and shit like that. But like, the reason that people want to patron me is because they respect the content I create. And so while there are incentives on the Patreon to get people to actually want to contribute, you know, $5 a month, you get access to 70 bonus podcasts, like I say at the end of every one of these fucking podcasts. The content is like the taste, the demo of like me. It's a way of me putting something out there, no strings attached, to try and convince you that me as the human, as the artist, as the creator is worth supporting. And it's very strange to me that this is the case, because this sort of demo disc content of like basically your entire catalog of content online essentially being a demo disc, it undervalues almost your content, right? Because your content at that point almost has no intrinsic value. Because like back in the day, like if you were going to sell a comic book, if you're like fucking Marvel or DC or some, you know, independent imprint, you would sell it for X amount of dollars. And the understanding was that, okay, if I want to buy this, or if I want to experience this story and I don't want to just like sit in the comic shop and bum the story in the back corner and hope nobody sees me, I have to buy it. And that's still the way a lot of like general commerce works. You go buy like an appliance, you don't really get the chance to try it. You know, I guess you could argue that like return policies are essentially the demo disc, right? But there's an extra step involved. You've already made the commitment. You've already spent the money. You have a money back guarantee on a lot of places now. You spend, you know, fucking $200 on a vacuum cleaner. You bring it home and it sucks. Not in the good way, but like in the bad way. You can bring it back and get your money back. But that's different than like a free demo, right? It's not like Best Buy comes and drops the vacuum off in your house. Where the fuck do you even buy vacuums? Best Buy? Does Best Buy sell fucking vacuums? I can tell you how much I fucking understand about like being a homeowner. Literally nothing. But like, it's not like you get to try this product with no commitment. I'm sure there are like some exceptions of like some fucking vacuum place doing that. I'm sure like if you go on some late night infomercials for boomers, someone's fucking doing that. But for the most part, the way like general commerce works is that you put your money down, you take the product, and it puts the onus on you. Like there's more of a burden on you. You've already spent the money. You've already brought the thing in. And like now it's more difficult for you to have to bring it back if you don't like it. So like it's more work, and they hope that like your laziness wins out, that even if it's like, it's like a 6 out of 10, the inconvenience of having to pack it up and bring it back to the store will dissuade you from actually doing it. But like online, this business model is like a death sentence. Like nobody can do this anymore, which is why fucking big companies have to plaster ads all over their websites. They can't really sell a subscription service. And this is why everyone gets so pissed off when you want to read an article and it's behind a fucking paywall. Because the way the internet works is that there's so much fucking content. There's so many people making things that to try and like have the gall of putting something behind a paywall, of not having your free demo disc, just means that they're just going to go somewhere else, because there's basically nothing you can really offer that someone else isn't offering an equivalent thing for free. If I wanted to make a comic book, it would be very difficult for me to sell it without having a reputation that precedes me. If I'm a new person, if I'm a new artist, and this is my first comic book, and I don't have an inbuilt audience, I have no choice but to put this out for free. Because there is no way that anyone would take a chance on buying my comic when there are a bajillion other people making comics for free. There is no shortage of content at this point. The internet has commodified everything. Everything is commodified. I don't understand why people even like, why do I buy courses? Why do I buy CG cookie subscriptions when like all that information is available for free on YouTube? You know, I guess it's the convenience of having like some structured courses instead of having to like frantically Google search for everything from disparate sources. But like for the most part, especially with entertainment where there's less like tangible return value, entertainment is already kind of like commodified content in the first place because it's not really serving any intrinsic need. It's just entertainment. It's a throwaway thing. It's a way to kill time. So like if you're trying to sell that up front, no one's really going to do it unless you have your demo disc out first. And this is why I think so many people now, like the game is like getting on social and becoming like a pundit or trying to become a influencer, because then your personality kind of sells everything you put out. Once you have a personality and a following, then you can sell things from the get-go because you've already like proven yourself as a personal brand. And it's just kind of weird. Just kind of weird. That's it. It's just strange. It's strange how, like, you know, things that me growing up were inherently worth money are no longer really worth anything anymore because there's just so much supply that it doesn't demand inherent price anymore. You have to, like, prove that what you do is worth it. Like, you have to make it first, give it away, and hope people will pay after the fact. And you're always going to make less money. If I was selling a comic back in like the early 90s or something, you know, and 10 people read it, 10 people would have paid for it. But now if I put it on Twitter and 10 people read it, odds are no one's going to pay for it. Like maybe I'll get one patron out of that if I'm lucky. And 10% retention on content would be insane. Fucking incredible. Like having 10% Patreon conversion, I'd be fucking rich, you know? Anybody would be fucking rich at that point. You'd be doing gangbusters. It's just devalued everything, and it's very strange. It's very strange. Obviously, there's tons of benefits to the internet model as well, is that you're connected to a global marketplace at this point. So you have eyeballs from everywhere. So like the amount of people seeing your content goes up, but the amount of the value of the content inherently decreases because it's available for free and nobody has to pay for it. And it's even more of a throwaway commodity than it was already. I'm going around in circles. That's all I got. This was a weird podcast. I usually record these in the morning. It's the evening, so I got a different energy going on, different vibes. Goodbye. Hey, thanks for listening to this episode of the Hyperbolic Whine Chamber. In addition to doing podcasts, I also make a bunch of 3D models and animations, which you can check out at twitter.com/TommyOliverSays. I'm also making a video game called Izumi and the Vertical Slice, and I have a simple game out right now called Ninja Suffering. You can check those out linked on said Twitter profile. If you want to help support the show and keep me making it and keeping it ad-free, you can check out patreon.com/polystation2 or subscribestar.com/TomOliver. Patrons have access to over 70 bonus podcasts, so if you like this podcast and want more right now, that's the place to do it. Thanks again for listening. This podcast updates 3 days a week, ideally, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, so feel free to subscribe on your preferred platform so you can catch new episodes as they come out. And patrons get episodes a week early. That's all I got for now. Have a good one.